Okay, I think that we have this thing figured out now. I don't know what was happening. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. This kind of goes very well with everything that we're talking about today because it really just seemed like nothing was going right. And I am already like 10 minutes into 3 o'clock and it wasn't working. It was not working. Faith and Gabby are here. Hi, guys. How are y'all? I can't tell y'all how frustrating that was because no matter what I was doing, nothing was working. It just wasn't working the right way. But I think that we got it right now. I think we are all together. Are we all in this together? We are all in this together, just like High School Musical. Yes. Now, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And you know what? Even though I got really frustrated, even though it just seemed like I wasn't going to have to throw away everything, I'm not. I'm not going to throw away everything because of a single moment. Because God still has a plan for this. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to look like at the beginning or at the end. But I trust that God is still going to have a plan for everything that we're going to do today. Cool. So I have a question. How many of you guys are really good at like competition? Like sports or video games or like building, whatever it is, like Legos, or maybe you're just really competitive. So anytime you guys break out board games, things get a little bit competitive in the house. I know that I'm not necessarily the most competitive person. I'm just the person that likes to just kind of stir the pot a little bit. Oh yeah, that's me. I like to stir the pot. So if you start getting upset about something, I might be the person to just kind of like, I'm gonna stir that pot up a little bit. Kunle, what is up, my friend? Man, I cannot wait to see you guys. And I have a special announcement at the end of this. So guys, pay attention and make sure. Karen and Atlee, what is up? I'm so glad that this is working right now because all of my friends are here and I'm super excited to see you guys. So on Tuesday, we had a conversation about a bro named Joseph, okay? We know about Joseph, we've heard about Joseph, but sometimes looking at Joseph's life, we see that things are just not fair. Things are not always going to be fair. I mean, in life, you understand that not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to work out the way that we want them to. And so we have to ask, like, what is the point if life is not going to work out the way that we want it? Well, let me tell you, God has a plan. God has a plan for you and for me and for your mom and your dad and your uncle and your cousin and everybody. God has a plan. We just have to trust that God's plan is good, which it is. And even if we don't know what's happening, we're going to see that God's still going to get the glory at the very end. So we looked at Joseph's life and we saw that he was his father's favorite and he had a couple of dreams, and we're going to see that in the recap later. But we ended and we left Joseph in a pretty low place. Literally, he ended up in a pit and he got sold as a slave by his brothers. I don't know about you, but I know that I have not always had the best relationship with my brother or my sister. And, sometimes we fight, but I have never wanted to throw my brother or my sister into a pit. You better not want to either. Look, God has a plan for everything, including the things that happened in Joseph's life, even though they did not seem fair. I mean, have you ever said that before? That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I bet you have said that before. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I bet you did. Oh, yes. Now, if you've played video games, something always happens. Something always happens where you're like, that's not fair. I mean, that was me just a second ago whenever I was trying to get all this working and it just wasn't working. I was like, that's not fair. But the thing that we need to remember is that Jesus is the greatest plan of all, and God has a plan to work everything out for us. So I want you guys to check out this video, and as we continue to learn the story of Joseph, I want you guys to see how sometimes, even though things aren't fair, God can still work some stuff out for us.
It's time for a Bible story. Today we're looking at the story of Joseph, part 2.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we had the whole to be continued thing last time. But could we do a quick recap or something? Like, a lot's happened since then. I can't really remember the details.
Wait, so much has happened in 1 week that you really can't remember?
Yeah, man. Had a busy week. Had to wash my 3 cats, made a corn maze in my backyard, had to read 14 books twice.
Okay, sure. We can do a recap. Joseph lived in the land of Canaan, and he had 11 brothers.
Yup.
But they really didn't like him.
Ah, that's right, because their dad gave Joseph that sweet coat with all the colors.
Exactly. Then God gave Joseph some dreams, telling him that he had big plans for his life.
Yeah, like the one where the wheat stood up and all the other bundles bowed down to it, and then the one where the sun, the moon, and 11 stars all bowed down to Joseph.
You got it.
Plus that one dream where he had mouths on his knees.
No, that was your dream, and it was super weird. Get that out of here.
Yeah, sorry.
Joseph's brothers were so jealous that they threw him down into a pit. Then they told their dad that he had been killed by a wild animal and sold him off as a slave.
Gotcha. So now we're all caught up, okay? What happened next?
Well, Joseph was under the control of the slave traders. He was forced to walk for miles and miles in his chains with no idea where he was going.
Man, that sounds kind of scary.
No kidding. They led Joseph all the way to the land of Egypt.
Whoa, like Egypt? Egypt? Like where the pyramids are?
You bet.
Dag, yo, that's like way far away.
It sure was. And that only made things worse. Not only would he be forced to work as a slave, but he was so far away from home. He didn't speak their language and he wasn't used to their food. It was not a great situation.
Man, I wish he wasn't so alone like that.
Well, he might have felt like he was alone, but he actually wasn't. The Bible says that even in this rough situation, the Lord was with him. He never left Joseph, and he still had big plans for his life.
Like even in a really bad spot like this?
Totally. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Soon after he came to Egypt, he was sold to a man named Potiphar.
Wait, what's that guy's name? Pot of fur?
No.
Honda bird?
No, say it after me. Potiphar.
Potty turd.
No! Come on, man. That's not even close.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say potty.
Potiphar was a very wealthy man. In fact, he was one of the Pharaoh's officials.
Whoa, that's a pretty big deal, huh? Isn't Pharaoh like the leader of all of Egypt?
Sure is. So this meant Potiphar had a lot of power and lived in a nice big house.
Hey, that's kind of cool, actually. I mean, even though he's a slave, at least he gets to live like in a house and do some cool work indoors, huh?
Exactly. That's one way that God took care of Joseph through this whole deal.
Gotcha. So that's what you were saying about how no matter the circumstances, God's big plans are still working.
Now you're starting to get it.
So what happened next? Did he just like live it up working in that sweet mansion, mowing the yard, dusting the statues, cleaning the pool?
Not exactly. For a while, everything actually seemed to be going okay. Until something bad happened.
Of course it did. Can't have too much good stuff happening for old Joseph, can we? Something's gotta come along and mess it all up. What happened? Did Joseph like make a mistake or something?
No, actually, Joseph didn't do anything wrong. But Potiphar's wife was not a great person, and she lied about Joseph and got him in big trouble.
But you said he didn't do anything wrong. How come he got in big trouble?
Well, he was still just a lowly slave boy, so Potiphar actually sided with his wife.
Oh man, that stinks. So what happened? Did he just like go work for somebody else?
No, actually, he got thrown into prison.
Wait, what? That double stinks, but he didn't do anything. All right, Joseph, time to lawyer up. Be all like, I'll see you in court, lady. You're trying to lie about me and send me to jail? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Okay, calm down. That's not really how it worked back then. If someone like Potiphar wanted you to go to jail, you went to jail.
Man, this is all just a big old bologna cramwich with extra bogus sauce and a side of ripoff.
I know, but remember, even in all those dark times, the Lord was still with Joseph.
Wait, but how? His situation keeps getting worse and worse. First, he's thrown into a pit by his jerk brothers. Then he gets sold into slavery. Then he gets lied about by some jerk lady and thrown into a stinking rat-infested prison.
That's true. His circumstances weren't all that great, but God still had a great, big, awesome plan for his life. And even in the hard times, the Lord was with him. But then, something was about to happen that would change things big time.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, that's the next part of the story.
Aw, man, you got me with another to be continued. Never even saw it coming. Man, you're good.
So, I have a question for you guys. Have you ever played a game or something along those lines and think that maybe things weren't fair? I mean, maybe you thought someone cheated, or maybe someone tricked you, or regardless of what was happening, you didn't think that it was fair, and it was just so frustrating. Maybe you felt like life wasn't fair. Maybe you didn't get the grade that you wanted, or you got sick on a vacation, or your new toy broke, or, none of us like it when life isn't fair. I mean, Joseph didn't have a fair life either. His brothers threw him into a pit and sold him into slavery. I mean, when things finally started to look better, Potiphar's wife lied to her husband to get Joseph thrown in prison. Life was not fair for Joseph either. And even though life wasn't fair for Joseph, the Bible said that God was with Joseph. How could this be? Because it definitely did not look like Joseph had God on his side. But even though it didn't seem like it, with all of these unfair things happening, there were probably times that Joseph believed that he didn't feel like God was with him. I mean, maybe you can relate to Joseph. Maybe there are times when you don't feel like Jesus is with you. But the truth is that Jesus is always with us. Always. So how can this be true? How can it be true if we don't feel it? Well, if you're like me, hey Amaris, how's it going? I like to play video games sometimes. I do. I like to play video games, but you know what? Sometimes you need batteries or something to charge it to make sure that the controllers are working. So when you're playing a video game, you're probably not thinking about the batteries. You're thinking about the game. You're not thinking, I'm so glad that I have batteries. You're asking yourself, do I have batteries? I don't know. But you're not thinking that. You're thinking, oh, game. That's what you're thinking. You don't realize that the batteries are out until the batteries aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You see, Jesus is like the batteries. He's always with you, even if you don't feel it. But you might be thinking, what do you mean Jesus is like batteries? Well, sometimes we move through life just like with our controller. We're so focused on the game, we forget that it's the batteries that are actually helping us play the game. Just like Jesus, he's always with you, always. And Jesus is always going to be with you. Sometimes we just need to take a second and realize that the only reason why we can do a lot of the things that we do is because of Jesus. Now, in order to understand this, we should probably look at Jesus's life, okay? I'm well, Amaris. Thank you for asking. Um, you see, Jesus made kind of a big sacrifice. I say kind of, like the biggest sacrifice for each and every one of us. He was so stressed out about what was going to happen. Did you know that whenever he was praying about it, Jesus even sweated. He sweat blood. Like that's how overcome with emotion Jesus was while he was praying. And one of his disciples betrayed him. We just learned this during Good Friday. I mean, Jesus went through so much for each and every one of us. And in that moment, whenever Jesus was on the cross, he yelled out, my God, why did you leave me?" Jesus experienced a pain that no one else could see, but a pain that was greater than anything else. Jesus was separated from God, the one who had been with him for eternity. That was the most painful part of the story. God left Jesus just the way that the batteries would come out of this controller. But Jesus' whole life in heaven and on earth was connected to God. God was his source, okay? God was his source, just like Jesus is our source. But if God is good, why would he have left Jesus? How could God do such a thing? God had to leave Jesus because Jesus took on our sin for himself when he was on the cross. You see, sin is when you do things that separate you from God. Now, God is holy and he is good, so he can't be where sin is. So in order for Jesus to do that, he had to separate himself, but only for a little while. You see, the whole reason why Jesus came to earth was that so that we could actually be with him. Because Jesus died on the cross, we are forgiven. And that's something exciting because now we know because we are forgiven, we can spend eternity with Jesus. And because we know that we are never alone, ever alone. And we can trust that no matter where we are, no matter what we're going through, that Jesus is always with us. Now, I know that sometimes we feel like Joseph and we feel like, how can God be in this situation? But I'm telling you, Jesus is here and he's in this situation. He's in the room. He's with you. And we can just do what we need to do by being obedient and listening and knowing that God is working in our lives. Now, you probably will think, hey, I don't know what's happening in my life right now. Maybe sometimes you're in a situation that seems impossible. Well, let me tell you, God is with you. He is. Why? Because Jesus already paid the price. So God will never leave you. Jesus will never leave you. We just have to make sure that we are listening to what he's trying to tell us, because sometimes he's trying to get our attention. While we're so upset about life not being fair, all God is like, hey, but I'm right here. Like, I know that you're stressed out right now. I know that you have a lot going on, but don't forget that I'm here. Just like the batteries, we get so focused on trying to beat a game, we don't ever stop to remember that the only reason why we can do everything that we do is because of Jesus. We can't forget that he's the reason that our life works. So remember, Jesus is always with you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you go. Jesus is always with you, okay? Always with you. So don't let life stress you out. And remember, you're forgiven. So you should live like you're forgiven. You should live a life that is focused on Jesus and focused on how great he is. So with all of that said, we're going to talk tomorrow about what happened after Joseph got thrown in the pit, sold into slavery, put in Potiphar's house, and then got put in jail. So right now, it's not looking so good for Joseph. If you know the end of the story, great. If you don't, you're going to want to check in tomorrow and find out exactly what happened to Joseph and how God was in the middle of all of this. But like I mentioned before, I'm going to make an announcement, and I'm going to make it today and I'm going to make it tomorrow. We are going to have a Zoom call for my birthday. And I know that like Asher already said that he wanted to be a part of it, and Alyssa already said that she wanted to be a part of it. But if you want to be a part of my birthday Zoom call, my birthday is next Saturday. Next Saturday is my birthday. If you want to be a part of that, you need to send an email to kids@citycenterchurch.com and let me know, or your parent, your trusted adult needs to let me know that you want to be a part of that phone call. So just go ahead, send me a little email so that we know, and we know how many to prepare for, because we're only going to be able to do so many. So talk to your parents, let them know, and then check in tomorrow as we continue this story of Joseph and find out exactly what God had in mind when all of this went down. I hope that you guys are enjoying this, and I hope you guys come back tomorrow as we continue to learn and find out exactly what's happening to Joseph. Also, remember, Karen, your birthday is April 27th. Bro, twins. Miss Leah's birthday is April 28th. So you're like right in between the two of us. I can't. Amaris, have your mom send an email, and so that we know like who's going to be a part of it. Have her send an email. Parents, send an email right now to kids@citycenterchurch.com. And we're going to have kind of a little party on Zoom. So be ready for that. And we're going to do something else special on that Zoom call. So if you want to be a part of it, we'll play it for other people later. But if you want to be a part of it, you got to let us know. Like I said, next time that you get ready to say the words, "That's not fair," take a step back and remind yourself that regardless of what happens, regardless of what is fair, that Jesus is always with you. So it kind of puts a different perspective on our outlook, or what we should be thinking, the things that come out of our mouth. So remember that. December 29th, Faith and Gabrielle is December 29th. Is that what we're doing? Are we sharing birthdays right now? You can share your birthday. When is your birthday? Go ahead and put that in the comment section. I don't know who else has a birthday coming up, but if you have a birthday, I'm going to say happy birthday to everybody. Hey, you watching right now. Happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday to you. I'm talking to myself now. I think that we're done here. Hey guys, let's pray. I'm a little all over the place today because of the way that all of this started. I don't know what was going on. And I started to say that wasn't fair, but then I remembered, hey, it's good. And God's got me. And God's got you too. So there's no need to worry, because God's got you. You like the braids back here? Thank you. Appreciate it. Man. Amaris, is yours September 29th, or is that your mom's is September 29th? I don't know. Happy birthday to you too. Okay, friends. I'm going to see you guys later. Awlays is October 25th. Malume 16? What? Oh, November 5th is Johnny's. Thanks, Johnny. Oh, so you and your mom are just like a few days apart. Nice. Well, I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.